In this video, I'd like to explain about the basic principles of Korean. Especially, I will focus on word order in a sentence, macro to micro language, honorific expressions. First of all, if you are the speakers of English, you may find it confusing to learn the sentence order of Korean language. Because in English, you have to put subject at the very first in the sentence, and then you can put a verb, and then object or complement, depending on the verb, right? But in Korean, you have to put verb or adjective at the end of the sentence. And then the other elements of the sentence could put in any place within a sentence. For the characteristics of Korean language, we do not have any fixed sentence order as long as if the verb or adjective comes at the end of the sentence. And also, in English, you have preposition such as at, in, on, etc., right? So it means you put this preposition before the noun. But in Korean, it's totally the opposite. We can call that postpositions because we put those particles 에서, 뭐뭐와 right after the noun, not before the noun. It's really the opposite as the English. But in Korean, for example, John plays tennis with Mary at school. You can put John any place, like John's school at Mary with tennis plays. This is in Korean. John이 학교에서 메리하고 테니스를 친다. But we could also say that 학교에서 존이 메리하고 테니스를 친다. Or 학교에서 메리하고 존이 테니스를 친다. Or even we could say that 학교에서 메리하고 테니스를 존이 친다. As you can see here, we can put John any place as long as it's not put in the end of the sentence. And then next one is Korean language is kind of macro to micro language. What I mean by that is that we put some larger units come first, and then we put the smaller unit later on. For example, if you call someone with a full name, in English, you'll say Minsu Kim, starting with the given name and then finish up with the family name, right? But in Korean, it is really the opposite. We put family name first and then given name later. It is also the same as in reading the date. In English, we say January 2nd, 2010, right? And in Korean, we will read the year first. 2010년, and then month, 1월, and then the last, the day, 2일, like this. And then it is also the opposite direction when you read the address as well. In English, you may say the smaller unit first, and then you put USA at the end. And in Korean, though, it is totally the opposite order, as you can see in the screen. And lastly, in Korean, we do have a lot of honorific expressions. The relationship between the speaker and the listener really matters in Korean language. Sometimes we put total different word depending on the relationship. For example, in English, you may say good night if your son or father, you say total the same thing to each other, right? Good night. But in Korean, if you are son, then you have to put some other words for the meaning of well. So 안녕히. But if you are father, then you do not say 안녕히 to your son. Rather, you say 잘. And then the word sleep also has two different forms. For the honorific, you'll say 주무세요. And the number one, 자라, like this. So the basic form of this is 자다, but honorific form is 주무시다. So anyway, the total concept of the relationship between the speaker and the listener are really different when you're learning Korean. So I will explain it later on in other videos as well. But anyway, for now, please keep in mind that in Korean language, we do have some special words to show your respect to the listener who are usually older than you are or some higher position than you are. And along the line, we do also have some special sentence ending suffixes. We do have as many as 6 different levels. From the very basic one is plain, and then intimate style and familiar style, blunt style, polite style, and differential style. And if it is really formal setting, we'll use a differential style, which is the utmost formal one. For example, if we use 좋다, which means to be good, then we'll say in a very formal situation, 좋습니다. And if it is a little bit formal situation, not the utmost formal one, then we'll say 좋아요. And then if you are talking to your friend, then you'll say, using the intimate style, say 좋아. So once again, in Korean language, all the time, we really conscious of who am I talking to. So it could be really a new concept if your own language do not have this kind of stuff. Then I will come back with other tutorials. 안녕히 계세요.